Hey everybody, Steve here, and today in this video we're taking our concealed carry and our church security training up to the next level, and we're doing that with a firearm simulator. So everybody knows that, or a lot if you don't know, it ends up I use the laser program, the laser activated shot reporter program with our classroom portion, so that way it's not death by PowerPoint. The students actually get to work on marksmanship fundamentals, holding the gun, sight alignment, sight picture, trigger squeeze, all that good stuff, drawing, and be able to mitigate the risks of new shooters and being able to do the exact same drills that we do in the classroom as we will out on the live fire range. And so all of those things transfer over. But now we're taking it to the next level because we've got the Smokeless Range. It's a firearm simulator. And so what I wanted to end up doing is kind of go through the little tour. We're doing a proof of concept here and make sure that everything works, and want you to come along and watch with me. So let's take a look. Okay, the first thing we end up having is a screen, portable screen that is 10 feet across. It's 16 by 9 format, and that's hooked up to our laptop. We've got a projector, which is 3,300 lumen projector, and then we got a special camera. We also have a SIRT laser pistol and of course a laser light pistol, and it works with either red laser or an IR laser. It does not work with a green laser, so be mindful of that. So we're going to go ahead and go through and just kind of show you what we end up doing. So what we'll do is we'll go to the Smokeless Range. We'll go ahead and start, get the little safety deal there. And when you buy the Smokeless Range, it comes with 10, I guess, mini apps or mini shooting little programs. You've got a bomb blast, you've got a can toss, dueling trees, so you can compete against another individual. Target shooting, you can have up to 2 shooters. Trap shooting, match target drill where you match shapes and colors. Moving target, it has a speed drill, tracking drill, and then a transitional drill. So you get those 10 different apps that go along with this. Now you can also have, as you can see there, a competitive IPSC challenge. That's an additional cost. Want to get that, but that's going to be a little while. I purchased the open range, and this open range allows you to actually go in and you can actually create different ranges. So let's just go ahead and edit this one. And this is a range that I made up. Now these are 10 targets. You can set the amount of rounds that you need to take the target down. So I set for 10 targets. So these will pop up on different times on the screen, and then you can be able to run that course of fire. So you can actually, you can change the targets, you can import pictures and make different target settings and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a really cool one. The VST Pro, that's going to be the next one that I want to get, but that is pretty expensive. That's like $800 just for that program there. Military range, okay, whatever. Tactical targets, I don't have that. It was an evaluation period for that. So, but what we'll end up doing is showing you how this works with the projector and the screen and how this all works. So first of all, we've got some settings, and we'll hit that right there, which is the camera. Because what we need to end up doing is calibrating the program. So there's the camera, and what we'll end up doing is we'll just go down here and hit calibrate. And then so what it ends up doing is basically just running through calibrating the screen, measuring screen deflection and all kinds of stuff, and then you can end up actually verifying by shooting up on the screen. And let me see if I can get this. Close enough for government work. Okay. And we got one in the center. So that'll be good enough. So you can actually track your shots, and then what we'll do is we'll go down here and save. And then we're ready to proceed. So what we can end up doing here is taking, let's take a program and let's do the can toss. So we can run through the can toss. It's got some options that you can set up for the number of shooters, the target count. We're going to have like 10. You can change the size of your target and the cans. And then, of course, you can do some different things, launch delay in seconds, and you can set those things. Okay, so what I can end up doing is I can go ahead and
are you ready?
Start.
Stand by.
Start low ready. Oops. So, and that's what we end up getting, which is really cool. We got a score of 54, total of 9 hits, 3 misses. But as you can see, we can start incorporating, instead of static targets, what we can do is start working more on fundamentals and a little bit higher as far as tracking and movement. And instead of static targets, now we have dynamic targets, which is pretty cool. Let's try the match target. This is where you end up shooting down at the bottom in the middle. You'll have a shape and a color that you're supposed to match with other targets that come up on the screen. And then
are you ready? Stand by.
Okay, so anyway, you can start working identifying targets and start using different parts of your brain. 10 hits, 3 misses, and it's a pretty wild, program. Let's go ahead and we'll try the open range. Now the open range is really cool because you can make your own course of fire, and so we'll end up is doing that. And I made this one a C3ST pistol, 10 targets with 3 shots per target. And what we'll end up doing is we'll go ahead and we'll load that. Alright, so there was our course of fire, and then what we can end up doing is actually looking through and seeing where our shots hit, and you can also review this on the computer, and you can review it on the screen here for your students. So let's go ahead and take a look. So here what we can end up doing is we can go ahead and choose that, and I don't know if you can see that right there. Shows our first shot on target, which is highlighted off of that target is highlighted in yellow. And so if you go down and arrow down, it'll show the second. Arrow down again, it'll show your third. And it shows your shot time and your split time. So you can end up going through and reviewing all the different targets and where you actually hit, which is really cool. And so it'll also give you some valuable information. Total of shots, total hits, total misses. First shot, 2.68 seconds. Last shot at 37.94. So Yeah, it's pretty neat. And then you have the option to go ahead and redo that stage of fire, or you can go ahead and exit. Now, there's a bunch of other ones that are included in this, and some of them are good. The most of them, I don't know. I don't think they're that good. I think the one that I just made was a lot better than the majority of these. Let's see. There are some here that's, let's see. So let's go down. They've got some that are good, like a plate rack. I got to do that within 5 seconds. So let's go ahead and we'll set that up and see how this works. And there's our plate rack. See that we did it in 4.14 seconds. We see all the information there. And then you can come down and you can see where it actually hit the targets. So yeah, it's a pretty cool program in the fact that you can make different types of ranges with that. Okay, so there it is, the Smokeless Range Firearm Simulator, which is pretty cool. But you might be asking, how much does all this cost? Yeah, you're going to spend some money. Now, I was looking for firearm simulators for my concealed carry, and I'm kind of branching out and doing church security training. So that way, we can do scenarios, we can work on marksmanship fundamentals, and then we can start getting into more dynamic moving targets and getting people more comfortable with their equipment and their skills and abilities. But it comes at a price. Now, originally when I was looking for a firearm simulator, the one that I wanted to get, price was, it was kind of interesting because I forget the name of it, but it was a high-end firearm simulator, and the brochure didn't list any prices. You had to contact them, and their base model was like $10,000 and went up from there. So yeah, it was way out of my price range. But for the Smokeless Range, it's really, really, it's affordable enough that if you're going to be doing training that, and especially if you're doing classroom training, it's kind of worth the money. But let's talk about how much the program is. The basic program for the Smokeless Range 2.0 is $499. The the open range that I purchased, where I can make my own course of fire, that was $250. The Video Scenario Trainer Pro, where you actually have live recordings like a real firearm simulator, where your shots interact with the person or persons on the screen, like maybe a hostage situation, or violent employee, or somebody robbing a convenience store. It'll go through different scenarios, and that one's $800. That's the other one that I want to get, but I need to make some coin first. The IPSC is competitive shooting challenge. That's $299, so basically $300. So we're going to be spending some money. But that's not all. Wait, there's more. The projector is a 3300 lumen projector, and that came out to $370. The laptop, which I had purchased prior to this, it's a little bit lower on the specs than what the website recommends, but it still works, as you can see. So, but that was like $900 to $1,000 right there. The portable screen from Elite Screens is a 10-foot wide screen, and that was like $145, $150. And then you're looking at a SIRT pistol, which is like $350, $60. You have laser light pistols. Those cost some money. I've got like 10 of those. So there's a lot of money that's been invested in this. But this will really, really help in regards to training. Because classroom training used to be death by PowerPoint. Now in my classes, I still have some PowerPoint, but because there's a lot of good information that you have to get across to the students. Things like the laws of the land, the firearm safety rules, the different ways to carry your concealed weapon, and the pros and cons of each. You need to look at the firing process and how that works, and how the firearm properly works, whether it's a revolver or semi-auto, because if you don't know how it works, then you won't know how to deal with the malfunctions and how to deal with those malfunctions and remedial actions. So this is going to be another add-on to the class. which is really going to take it up to the next level. And then, of course, with the rig, I can watch movies outside, and that'll be kind of romantic with the wife. Looking forward to doing that. That's an added benefit, not included in the class. But yeah, this is just going to be really cool in the fact that it'll be able to work not only on the marksmanship fundamentals, which will transfer over to live fire ranges, but we can start working on more advanced skills and abilities to get you and me as concealed carry holders to become more proficient. And being more proficient and more efficient in our actions means that we have a better chance to survive and to keep our loved ones safe in the case of a violent incident, being able to respond with lethal force. So that's what we got going on with this. As far as church security teams, there are some things that I'm going to be branching out and doing with that. Still working on marksmanship fundamentals, but start working on, like this stuff here. And then when I get the video trainer or video scenario trainer pro, we'll actually be able to look through and see recorded scenarios. Like you're in a convenience store and somebody comes in and starts robbing the store at gunpoint. You have the decision to, you're either going to respond with lethal force or let them rob the store and leave. Home invasion scenarios, parking lot scenarios, things like that. So that way we go to the next level. Instead of just working on the marksmanship fundamentals, we hope that we have mastered those to some degree. Then we start working into the judgmental scenarios, which a lot of people don't do. You can't do that on the range. You can't interact with moving targets. It costs a lot to have moving targets out on a range. So in regards to church security, we're going to be working on a number of things. Besides the marksmanship fundamentals, besides working on static targets and that aspect, now with the smokeless range and the firearm simulator, we can work with more dynamic and moving targets. And then, of course, once I get that video scenario pro, then we can start working on the judgmental training of, how you interact with people. That has different video scenarios that, you're in a convenience store, a guy comes in at gunpoint, tries to rob the store. How are you going to respond? There's different things that you can do. You don't always have to engage. If a thief comes in there and robs the store, he's pointing a gun at somebody, that's considered lethal force, but maybe he just takes the money and you let him go. Or you could engage the threat. Where there's parking lot scenarios, there's home invasion scenarios, there's a bunch of different things where you can actually record and make your own video scenarios, training scenarios. So, because some of them on there, they're kind of cheesy and I don't like them, but I want to gear and actually create content that's geared towards church security. Now you might be asking about church security and some of the concepts. Basically, I believe that there should be a three-tiered concept. One, you're going to have people out in the parking lot. One, you're going to have your greeters at your door. And then, of course, inside the sanctuary or wherever you meet, you're going to have your security staged somewhere within there. Depending on your church, in your assembly, some of them are really big, so the church security team is going to be rather big. You'll have multiple team members, like in mega churches and things like that. Of course, mega churches also tend to have armed and hire their own security. But what I'm really looking for is the medium to small size congregations where they don't have the funds, and so they're training their own church security teams. And that's where I want to take this, is be able to fill that need and get some good training in. So I think the Smokeless Range will be able to do that. But I think that's going to be a more entailed class. It's not going to be like a one-day CCW class. That's definitely not going to be the case. For church security, we're going to, because you not only have to deal with concealed carry, firearm safety, sight alignment, sight picture, trigger squeeze, getting the marksmanship fundamentals down pat. Then you have to work on the dynamic targets. Then you have to work on video scenarios. Then you have to work on interpersonal communications, on how you deal with people, especially people that are aggravated. Don't tell somebody to calm down, because they won't. That's a guarantee. It'll just make it worse, and deal with that. And the last resort is of course, either non-lethal means or by lethal means, if you're different levels of force within that. So that's not going to be like a one-day thing. Really looking forward to getting this going and start branching out and helping some other congregations. And of course, you get the brother and sister discount being in the family of God. But yeah, I want to start doing some training because we're seeing more and more violent actions in places of worship. And I think we need to be prepared. And if you don't have a plan, you're going to fail at some point. You might be able to negotiate an active shooter, but are you going to have any friendly fire incidents? Are you going to, are other people going to be hurt because people haven't been trained correctly? Just strapping a gun on everybody and saying everybody's a church security member. You have to know your target. You have to know what's beyond your target. Who's going to respond. Does anybody have any training in first aid, pressure dressings, tourniquets? Do we have camera systems? Do we have signs? There's a whole lot of stuff involved in regards to church security and how you deal with people. So the church security training isn't going to be just like a one-day thing. It's probably going to be a couple-day long course, which will incorporate firearm simulators, working on basic marksmanship, and so on and so forth. So we'll see how that goes. So anyway, that's going to be it. That's the Smokeless Range, the firearm simulator, and of course, when I get some more money, I'll get the Video Pro and take it to the next level. So until then, that's going to be it. But yeah, looking forward to it. Take care. God bless. Peace.